Good day, folks, and welcome to another edition of Lumberjack Logic Live. This is Late Night Live. I'm your host, Neil Johnson. So excited to be with you. So, my daughter's been helping me here with the show, and she found this video for me and recorded it, and you're going to absolutely love it. And it is the greatest meltdown, absolutely one of the greatest meltdowns I have ever seen. So, Donald Trump is really befuddling these people because he's winning everywhere. I mean, honestly. He's winning in the polls. He's winning in court. He's winning in business. He's freaking winning everywhere. And they are so upset about it. Oh, man. If you guys didn't see it, go check out the last video that I uploaded of Eric Swalwell. It's actually a two-part series. I did one the day before, so you can check that out. But we're going to get into this video. But I do need to thank my sponsor really quickly, and that's Midas Gold. MidasGoldGroup.com or text Lumberjack to 232-425. You can receive free silver with a qualifying order. You can also call them at 480-360-3000. I just talked to James today. James is one of the owners. I called because I wanted to get a little bit more myself, gold and silver. And we talked actually because my kids just had birthdays, and I gave them silver maple leaves. I have 3 birthdays in a row, March 25th, 26th, 27th. That's kind of wild. But I just encourage you to give something of lasting value. That's why I do that. It's something that's going to increase in value for them. It's something that's going to show them the value of real money, tangible, actual, physical money. So those are just ideas for you. You can get a silver maple leaf. It's probably, I don't even know right now. They're probably like 25 to 27 bucks, something like that. Maybe some of you bought some lately. And no, I get a lot of the more bullion type coins, just minted coins. I don't get into as much into the what do they call them, numismatics. You guys know where you get the real fine coins and you grade them and everything. So, anyways, that's Midas Gold Group. Again, dealing with veteran owners, not commissioned salespeople. So, people, this video is going to be so much fun. Actually, here, let me do one thing before we get into this video. I want to show you the poll numbers. So these were just released. This is just today's poll numbers. I want you to look at this. This is Bloomberg Morning Consult again. Every time we see these numbers go up, people, this is wild. Arizona, Trump +5. That's in a head-to-head, Trump versus Biden. And Trump's almost at the 50% mark in these states. Georgia, the Dems have even pulled their money out of Georgia at this point. Michigan, this shows as a tie. I've seen Michigan polls showing as much as 9 points up. I know in the average on Real Clear Politics, it's showing him +2, I want to say. Then we have Nevada. Trump's going to win Nevada. North Carolina, Trump +6 in North Carolina. Pennsylvania shows him as a tie, and Wisconsin is at +1. Others show as a tie. It shows Trump in the average with just a little bit of a lead. Once you start adding the other people in, though, with Kennedy and so on, he goes up in everything. So most of the general election polls for popular vote showed Trump up as well. This one actually shows Biden up. So anyhow, it's wild watching this, and they're losing because they're overplaying their hand. This is what they do, and then they out themselves. They did it with True Social. Now, did you guys just hear what happened today? It's not just that, because I did the video a while ago about how Trump made basically $4 billion based on the valuation of True Social. He made more than that. Today, the stock, people, here, let me show you. I'll show you a graph on this. This is wild. I'll just go search for truth here. Okay, and I'll find a graph for you. I know it's here, and I just saw one. Where to go? There you go. Here, I'll pull the polls out for a second. This is what, right now, that's the spike today on True Social. Trump Media and Technology Group. Trading under DJT. Now, here's the thing. I'll be honest. It is a bit of a a meme stock, if you will. And I don't say that as an insult or anything, because but it's overvalued to what it is right now. But here's the thing: if he wins the presidency, and it's probably what some people are betting on, it's not overvalued anymore. You're going to be more users jumping on. It's going to get wild. I mean, he's going to make a boatload of money off of it. And, the liberals created that scenario. They created it. Gosh, these people, they go crazy with their censorship. They go crazy with everything. And then there's the law of unintended consequences that takes over. And that's what happened here. And now it's, like, you got to be kidding me. They lose at everything they do. Right now, Letitia James, Arthur Engeron. I got to get the story out on Letitia James and her mortgage fraud. I've got another story I've got to get out of Georgia. There's just so much news to follow. And sometimes I want to cover something like the Eric Swalwell story because there's still other people that need to be out of Congress. Okay, so that's what I do there. But this. So that's what's going on with True Social. So they're really ticked off today. Like Twitter's just erupted with all these people. Trump. It's on the news channels and everything. But I want to show you this video because this is what's really wild, people. This was yesterday. Okay, it was yesterday. Either that or it was this morning. My daughter pulled it for me. Like I said, she's helping pull some video for me, some footage that I can utilize in these shows. And I said, like I said, this is one of the greatest meltdowns I've ever seen. This was after Letitia James did not get her 454, which actually was up to 476 million or something like that at that point. You guys can correct me on that, but with the interest that it was accruing each day, it had gone up quite a bit. So they had the former assistant attorney general of New York on MSNBC with another civil rights lawyer. This is awesome.
I'm told right now that that bond, that $500 million bond that had been set and that the former president had to deal with today, has now been reduced to $175 million. So that 465 million plus.
Now, this is wild, people. It's still $175 million, right? But yet it's a win because it came from 470. It's like $300 million discount. And it's way too punitive. It doesn't make any sense. Bernie Madoff, his bond was set at $10 million. Who defrauded all these people? It's ridiculous. Okay, I understand all that, but it is just, it's wild that these people act like it's nothing. I mean, it's still too much. I mean, $175 million for this bonehead case. Anyways,
bond that he was looking at or has now been reduced as of right now. We're getting this breaking news. This appeals court allowing the former president to post a smaller bond of $175 million within 10 days. David, what does that tell you?
Jose, it tells me something that you and I have talked about before, and that is the playbook is different for former President Trump. We were literally talking about this the last time you and I discussed this case. I expect for them to do something for him that's different than what you see for everybody else when they go to court.
Yeah, you're right. It is different. Nobody else gets whacked with $454 million when there's no victims. This is ridiculous. Nobody else is facing the kind of criminal and civil prosecution that Donald Trump is. From people like Stormy Daniels, a porn star, and they act like she's some saint. And she even had, I mean, I've got the letter here. I'll pull it up as this goes. But I will show you the letter. Stormy Daniels said the whole thing never happened.
406 former president to post a smaller bond. You.
Jose, it tells me something that you and I discussed this case. I expect for them to do something for him that's different than what you see for everybody else when they go to court. So here, he's given more time to pay less money. That's what it comes down to.
And Tristan, so what does that process look like in the courtroom there?
Do we even need to ask? I mean, honestly, this is so infuriating. I don't even know what to do.
It's so infuriating. These people are so upset. Again, here, I'm going to pull off this banner, subscribe and share. See, this is the former New York Assistant Attorney General, people. And I want you to look up here. I put this in the thumbnail, but do you see up here on the shelf, taking down Trump? This is a guy who is supposed to be pursuing with impartiality, just law and the justice. In his bookshelf, right up there, taking down Trump. These people are fake frauds.
I don't even know if I care what the process is that these judges are arriving at. Whatever it is, it's flawed. I can tell you that much. I mean, David put it well. This is a different process for this person. We have decided that he gets his own private court of justice. He has a private plane. He has private clubs that he lives in. Apparently, he basically fashioned himself his own private militia to try to take over the Capitol.
People, they're so nuts. They are so nuts. Okay, he has a private plane because he bought it. He has a private club because he bought it. That's the great thing about America is you can go out and make some money and you can buy things. You can buy your own home. You can buy your own boat. I bet he's got a private boat. Does that bother this guy too? And then his own private militia. Do you know that nobody was armed? They're I can't. This stuff is so funny.
Now he's getting his own private system of justice. This is an absolute travesty. It would not happen for anybody else.
You're right. Nobody else would go through this level of criminal and civil prosecution. Nobody else. Nobody else ever has.
Anybody else, it would be like, sorry, buddy, you lost. Pay up. For him, he gets his own set of rules.
No, because other people wouldn't have had to post a bond of $470 some odd million, and the attorney general wouldn't have been running around posting the interest on X or Twitter every day, bragging about it. This is some weird level of BS, people. Hey, do me a quick favor, smash that like and do chat in with where you're from if you just jumped on the stream. Get back.
Legally, Tristan, how is that done?
We just saw it. They just decided that the appellate court has now just decided they're going to swoop in and just change it. And that's it. And now the AG's office can.
That's what appeals courts do. You guys realize this? That's what an appeals court is for. You go to an appeals court to get a ruling changed. Like, this guy was the former assistant attorney general of New York, and we have to talk to him on video here. Frustrated because he doesn't even know how the appeals process works, apparently.
Now try to go up above them. I believe, I don't know what the details are because you just told us. I'm guessing this is coming from the First Department, Appellate Division, First Department. That's the intermediate court here in New York that would be issuing a decision here. I don't know if there's a remedy for the AG's office to go up to the Court of Appeals, which is our high court here in New York, and try to get them to basically countermand this order. But in my view, this is, without knowing more, unless there's some sort of other extenuating circumstance that we're going to learn here, this appears to be an absolute gross miscarriage of justice.
Okay, honestly. This guy, again, people, I want to stress, this is the former assistant attorney general of New York that we're listening to. You guys do understand that, right? I mean, this is supposed to be somebody who's, what's the word I'm looking for here? Even tempered. They have like a judicial type of temperament because they're officers of the court for the state. And the deal with those people is they are not supposed to pursue political prosecutions. That's not the goal of these offices. And they're only supposed to try cases they can win. That's the responsibility of these people. Yet instead, he's running around with his little book up in the corner. Don't forget the book about getting Trump. Okay? That's why I circled in the thumbnail. And going after Donald Trump and talking about a gross miscarriage of justice. A gross miscarriage of justice is where there's nobody affected by the crime. And who gets the money anyways? Who gets the money if they were to win? Who gets the money? Because the banks weren't defrauded. So apparently, make this make sense to me. Anybody got this?
So let's go into it because I'm getting right now, and this literally is just coming across. So this is indeed the Supreme Court of the state of New York, Appellate Division, First Judicial Department, and there are 5 present, including the presiding judge, Diane Renwick. And I'm just getting it right now, and we can kind of.
This is what's so great because this was right when it broke that this video was done. And you are seeing their raw reactions. They haven't had time to temper themselves. They haven't had time to think about how they should actually present a better image to the public.
Kind of learn it together as we see it. It says the appeals having been taken to this court from an order of the Supreme Court of New York County entered on or about February 16th, and defendants appellants having moved pursuant to CPLR 5519 to stay enforcement of the order and ensuring judgment. Upon reading and filing the papers with respect to the motion and deliberation, it is ordered that the motion is granted the extent of staying enforcement of these portions of the judgment ordering disgorgement of to the Attorney General of $464,576,000 conditioned on defendants posting within 10 days of the date of this order an undertaking in the amount of $175 million, permanently barring defendants Weisselberg and McConney from serving in the financial control, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then all of the other issues that we have learned since about Weisselberg and McConney not being able to serve for 3 years, barring Donald J. Trump and the corporate defendants from applying for loans in New York for 3 years, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This motion is otherwise denied, including to the extent it seeks a stay of enforcement of portions of the judgment. So it was just decided right now, David, and it was just, how do they come up with a number of 175 from 476, 500 million to 175 million dollars? How does this happen?
Okay, this is what's so funny. He's like wondering, how did they come up with this dollar amount? Well, the better question, and this guy's going to give some garbage answer, but how did Judge Engoron come up with $454 million as an amount when the banks testified that they would be happy to do business with Donald Trump again? How did they come up with that number? How did Judge Engoron decide that Trump needed to pay $454 million plus the interest, which would have totaled at that point $476 million? It's ridiculous.
You know, they don't give us the benefit of their calculus in that order, right? Because I was sitting here trying to process that myself. But the other thing I'm sitting here thinking, and here's something that I cannot stress enough. Every day, every courtroom in America, if we go there and we sit in that courtroom, we will find someone whose back is really up against the wall because they cannot afford to pay something that they have been ordered to pay. And they.
Yeah. So this guy, and civil rights attorney, I just honestly, but he's talking about other people with their backs up against the wall and unable to pay. As we watch the rest of this clip, I want you to think about that, because they were talking about almost $500 million from Donald Trump in cash that he was supposed to post for them, whose back was up against the wall. Where was the unnecessary punitive judgment?
Generally plead with the court to reduce the amount they have to pay, and the court may give them some leeway, but you do not see it happen like this. And let's go back to that Fox News clip. Yes, they're talking about it being a lot of money, but you're also someone who has a lot of money. One of the things that we do to try to put in perspective what.
And Tristan, what is that process?
I'm sorry, I'll bring this back up, but did you catch that? This again is like the tenets of socialism. I mean, he should have to pay more money because he has more money. No, that's not how that works. That's not how that works. Oh, it's just like, oh, well, if you've got $10, we'll take your $10. If you've got 500 million in cash, we'll take all of that. Is that what it is? This is about? Like, we'll take everything you've got? It's ridiculous.
There may not be enough money for food. It's a huge, huge number. Then you ask the question, what is an $1,000 penalty for a billionaire or for someone who owns properties worth tens of millions of dollars? And in that context, that's the way you have to interpret what the court has chosen to do here. And I agree with Tristan, there's simply no logic that justifies it, and there's no moral authority that justifies it.
Yeah, no, moral authority is Letitia James dancing in the streets, talking about how she's going to get Trump, talking about how he's too male, too pale, too stale. That's justice, man. This dude's an idiot.
And I mean, Tristan, I'm just looking at this. This was actually filed at 11:06 a.m. So we're just talking about 23 minutes ago that it was filed. And so, Tristan, is it unusual that it's just a statement of a decision taken to lower it from $464.5 to $175 million? No explanation given. Tristan, no explanation normally given. Tristan, no normal explanation required?
An explanation should be required, but it isn't here. It isn't given to us here. This doesn't necessarily surprise me. A lot of times New York courts give orders that are short and light on their showing their work, so to speak. You know, we're not really seeing where this comes from. A lot of times you get very short summary opinions from courts in New York. The exception to this, wonderfully, because I think it was very helpful for all of us to see, was what we got out of Judge Engoron, where he issued these long and very carefully thought out orders explaining exactly where his analysis came from and how.
Let me just kind of break this down for you. The reason Judge Engoron had to come out with such an extensive, long ruling is because he had to show justification for something that was obviously so egregious. He needed to do this under the color of law. He needed to put a veneer over it so that, you know, some people in the media would accept it and parrot the talking points. But in reality, we all know that it's a sham.
He arrived at the conclusions that he arrived at. And then to have that come from him and then have this other set of judges just show up and just squish it. They just drop a bomb on this and they don't give us any explanation at all. Yeah, that's enormously frustrating. And I would say it's wrong. It just shouldn't have happened. It shouldn't happen this way. We deserve, the public, the people of the state of New York deserve better than to have this happen. This is, and we have to remember, that's who the plaintiff is here. It's not Letitia James or her office or whatever. Yes, they are our public servants who are doing this on our behalf. But the plaintiff is the people of the state of New York, and we deserve better out of our judicial system than to have something like this happen, where we're not actually even getting to find out what the Wizard of Oz is doing behind the damn curtain. This is ridiculous.
It's ridiculous, people. It's freaking ridiculous. That's like my favorite meltdown video I've seen in a while. I mean, give me in the chat here. I mean, what did you guys think? I mean, was that worth it, just watching these people fall apart? Because I loved every minute of it. I loved it. I mean, the first time I watched it, I was like, these people are so ridiculous. But you need to understand how they think. I mean, they actually think they're right. I mean, they actually think that somehow Donald Trump deserves this. Now, can you imagine that? Let's just go to the hush money payment. How much did Bill Clinton pay? Wasn't that Paula Jones that he paid the money to? Was that $8 million or something along those lines? Does anybody remember that case with Paula Jones and Bill Clinton? How much did he pay her? Actual recorded payment to her. And then I've got, I told you guys I'd pull up the letter of Stormy Daniels. I got it here. So, here we go. No, not there. Oh, I know somebody sent it to me. It's probably on X. Sorry, I'm trying to find it for you. Oh, that's a good article. Well, anyways, I've got the thing. I mean, it's basically, she said that the whole thing never happened. I mean, this was in 2018. She signed a letter, Stormy Daniels, and said the whole thing never happened. She posted it on her Instagram account. Never happened. And yet, here we get this. I mean, this is maddening. I mean, I just don't, but at the same time, it's funny. I just think, how big of losers are these people that they got to run around and talk all this trash all the time? I don't get it. I wanted to do this live because I just thought this was so much fun. I do want to mention my other sponsor quickly too. You guys know Mike Lindell and My Pillow, but the extravaganza deals are phenomenal. Promo code Lumberjack, mypillow.com/lumberjack. It'll pull you right to this page if you go mypillow.com/lumberjack. But look at these deals. All this right now. Big savings and free shipping with a $75 order. So go get people some gifts. And thanks for supporting the show. Thanks for supporting Mike Lindell, everything he's doing for election integrity. You can also donate to his case that he's bringing before the Supreme Court at lindellplan.com. There are people I feel good about giving money to, and there are people I don't feel good about giving money to. Mike Lindell has put it all on the line. I mean, he has put it all on the line. He had millions at stake, and he's done it. So anyways, want to thank you for joining me tonight. Hope you had fun. Hope you found this to be. There we go. I was trying to remove this. We'll see you on the next episode. All right, folks. Peace out.